superhero critic, and I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome. And welcome to more X-Men film fun with X-Men First Class. Beginning with what would become X-Men Beginnings, X-Men First Class loosely adapted the series of the same name and was intended as a franchise reboot, dealing with the origins of the original X-Men team as well as the Brotherhood of Mutants, all while they dealt with Sebastian Shaw, the Hellfire Club, and it takes place in the 1960s during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Originally pitched as a Magneto origin story, it would later become the final film, directed by Matthew Vaughn, written by Sheldon Turner and Bryan Singer. Now, personally, I stopped watching a lot of X-Men films after The Last Stand, so a lot of the next reviews for the X-Men films will be my personal rewatches and how I feel about them. That being said, let's dig into the Breakfast Club for Mutants with First Class. We begin in Poland, 1944, revisiting Magneto's past and revising the same opening from the first X-Men film before jumping to New York, where young Charles finds a young Raven rummaging through his fridge, promising to help her never steal again. Eric is brought to a Nazi who wants him to learn how to use his powers. When he can't, he uses Eric's mother as an incentive, killing her and birthing the young and angry Eric. You know, as a German, for some reason, I feel like Eric's anger is very justified. We go to 1962, where Eric, now played by Michael Fassbender, has work sprawled out, showing he's looking for the man who killed his mother, before jumping to Charles, now played by James McAvoy, hitting on a girl in a bar.
Morning. No, seriously though, you mustn't knock it. Mutation took us from single-celled organisms to being the dominant form of reproductive life on this planet. Infinite forms of variation with each generation, all through mutation.
Raven cockblocks Charles, upset she has to hide her mutation, and like a typical cis male, he's blind to her clear like of him and flirting. Eric then visits another German, wanting information on Klaus Schmidt, yanking the man's tooth out in the process.
You'll be a dentist. You have a talent for causing things.
In Las Vegas, Mariah McTaggart goes undercover in order to follow Colonel Hendry, who is visiting the Hellfire Club, and Sebastian Shaw, who wants Hendry to attack Turkey. And after a powers display, he's convinced to vote on them, potentially voting to start the war. Eric then goes to a bar, continuing his look for Schmidt, finding and attacking a few people.
Let's just say I'm Frankenstein's monster.
Quick, grab fire! Mariah meets Charles at his celebration, and after reading her mind, he agrees to help her. Meanwhile, Hendry tries to threaten Shaw with a grenade, only for him to take the energy and kill Hendry with it.
That's the boring part. The fun stuff is what I can do with it once I've got it.
Charles reveals to the government that mutants exist, only for them to not believe him until Raven transforms. An agent who never has a name is ecstatic about the mutants. Eric then climbs Shaw's ship, only to be massively overpowered. The Coast Guard shows up to arrest Shaw, only for Emma to block Charles's powers. Eric attacks Shaw's ship, but after much destruction, Shaw manages to get away, as Charles tries to calm Eric down. The CIA agent takes the four of them to Division X, where they meet Hank McCoy, who is accidentally outed as a mutant by Charles. But we see Raven is smitten with feelings for Hank. The war begins as Shaw sets his sights on Russia as he shows Emma the helmet he's been given that blocks telepathy. Hank and Raven get closer as he draws her blood, almost kissing before being cock-blocked by Eric, who feels they should embrace who they are instead of hiding it from the world. You know, as someone who hid the real them to even themselves, I kind of wish I took Eric's advice and didn't hide myself from the world so much. And it works as he then convinces Charles to use the machine that would allow him to find mutants, and we get a montage of the 4 mutants that would eventually join the team, as well as the best cameo ever put into a movie.
Excuse me, I'm Eric Lensher.
Charles Xavier.
Go fuck yourself.
Alrighty then.
Emma realizes there's more, and Charles has him and Eric debate what comes next. We then meet the new recruits Darwin, Angel, Banshee, and Havoc as the group demonstrate their powers to each other, ending with Havoc's massive attack. They are so mean to that statue! The group is then seen as immature despite most of them being in their 20s, and Mariah then tries to get by a Russian border control, pulling a mental trick to get by. The group realize that Shaw is not there, but Eric is determined to get info from Frost as he storms the building. The two entrap Forrest, and Eric takes things a little bit too far.
Eric, that's enough!
The safe word is banana! Charles reads her mind, seeing Shaw's plan to strike Cuba. Shaw then attacks Division X, as Azrael brutally murders man after man. Eventually, after all of their death, Shaw offers the mutants to join his side, Angel being the only one wanting to join his side. Darwin and Havoc try their best to stop him, but it just ends in Darwin's death. In Russia, Shaw demands the Russian leader to attack Cuba and threatens him when he says no. We then get to a montage of the militaries preparing for war as Xavier's team begin training with their powers. The scenes last for a couple minutes and ends with a touching moment between Eric and Charles that allows Eric to move the entire satellite dish. Well, at least in this case, emotional power seems to be more powerful than the power of boners. The president makes his announcement as the world's primed for war. Hank shows Raven the serum to get rid of their appearances, but she has changed her mind on how she feels about that, but he clearly doesn't agree, making her cry. Eric reminds Charles he's going to kill Shaw, and Hank takes the serum, but it in turn backfires, accelerating his mutation. Raven flirts with Eric, but he only flirts back when she shows him her real self, birthing yet another meme. The group then go to get Hank, who has destroyed his lab, leaving them with a box of uniforms. We then see Hank's full transformation, and while he is okay with Raven's comments, he's not so happy with Eric's.
This is who you were meant to be. This is you. No more hiding.
Never look better, man.
Hank?
Don't mock me.
Banana! The two militaries begin to do battle, but the X-Men arrive at the same time, and Xavier controls one of the Russians into blowing their own ship up. Banshee then uses his scream to echolocate Shaw's ship, while Shaw is absorbing energy from the reactor. Eric then yanks Shaw's sub out of the water. Riptide attacks, causing their plane and the sub to be tossed onto an island, and the two groups begin fighting as Eric goes after Shaw, disabling the reactor. But Shaw begins to just toss him around like a rag doll, and Mystique saves Beast from Azazel. Shaw taunts Eric, but he outsmarts him, allowing Charles to freeze him. But Eric has different plans as he brutally shoves a coin through Shaw's skull, killing him. Eric then realizes the humans all have their weapons targeted at the beach. Magneto is fully born.
Eric, you said yourself, we're the better men. This is the time to prove it.
Magneto turns the missiles onto the humans, causing a tussle between him and Charles that gets stopped by Mariah trying to shoot him, only for Charles to get shot in the back. Eric blames her, but Charles shows him that it was his fault and not hers that he was shot. Mystique joins Eric's side, and the new Brotherhood leave the island as we go to Charles, now in his wheelchair, and he pulls a Superman wiping Mariah's memory. Eric then breaks Emma out of holding, promoting Eric's new persona, and ending the film. Despite me not personally enjoying the film, the movie was a box office success, making $353 million back on a $160 million budget, creating this universe's sequels that just got worse and worse as they get released. And we'll see how that happened. So that was First Class. It's not my least favorite movie out of the nuance of the films, but I didn't really leave the theater when I first saw this as excited as I was for the first two films. So, honestly, I don't dislike it, but it's not something I would watch more than once. Next week, however, we're going to take a look at my least favorite X-Men film because they shat on one of my favorite X-Men stories. Yeah.